Before we get into the chaos of how we became beekeepers, we should probably introduce ourselves properly.
We are Chris and Louise, and we live in Manchester with our two dogs, Storm, the very lazy husky, and Trixie, our mischievous collie, who thinks she rules the roost.
I'm a television cameraman by trade. I've spent years filming everything from documentaries to dramas. But, like most freelancers, I've always had other businesses running on the side to smooth out the feast or famine madness.
And I'm the organised one. I worked in recruitment, managing contracts for companies like Adidas, JD Williams and Amazon. Finally escaped the 9 till 5 to run my own business, which is natural dog treats. And then eventually, and now, bees.
We're both very hands-on, a bit obsessive and apparently incapable of sitting still.
So naturally, we decided to add hundreds of thousands of bees into the mix.
Because why not? What could possibly go wrong?
Quite a lot as it turns out, but that's the story we're about to tell.
Apparently.
Naughty bees, that's what's happened. Naughty bees.
I never wanted to be a beekeeper, not even slightly. And yet somehow I ended up with a box of buzzing insects being marched through my house like a takeaway delivery.
And the best part, the whole disaster was my fault. Stick around, it gets worse and funnier.
Much, much worse, but it does explain how our beekeeping journey began. Hi everyone, welcome back to BEEtastic. Today we're telling the real story of how we got into beekeeping. The messy, clueless, slightly terrifying version.
We generally didn't have a clue, not even a tiny clue.
But don't skip, because in the middle of this carnage we learned a lot, and if you're a new beekeeper you'll either feel reassured or terrified, maybe both.
So it's Christmas 2019. I bought Chris a voucher for a beekeeping experience.
I smiled, I thanked you, but inside I was thinking, brilliant, a day of voluntary stinging.
But you were fascinated by the bees.
Yeah, but from a distance, through a window, in a book, on television, where they can't touch me or sense my fear.
And then lockdown.
Yep, March 2020. Big fat Boris comes on telly and says, you must stay at home. And I thought, yes, the bees can't get me.
Your relief was unholy.
I got almost a year of government protected not going near bees time. But in May 2021, my luck ran out.
We finally went to the bee experience day. I intended to sit in the car and read a book.
We check in and the organiser says to Louise, we've had a cancellation. Do you want to join us?
And before I even breathed, you said yes. Yes, she does.
I needed backup, someone to distract the bees while I hid behind you.
Thanks. Anyway, we get into the hives and suddenly everything changes.
We both just stopped. It was like time slowed down. We were surrounded by thousands of bees and it was beautiful.
The calm, the sound, the smell. It was amazing.
And within 5 minutes, I'd gone from terrified to let's get bees. A terrible idea, as you'll soon find out. So I went home and found the Flow Hive online. Oh my goodness, the promo videos, it looked amazing.
Put bees in, turn tap, honey pours out like Ribena.
I was sold. I bought a hive instantly, and as soon as it arrived, I built it. And I left it in the hallway for nearly a year.
Nearly 12 months, this huge hive just sat there like a wooden monument to your procrastination. And I stubbed my toe in it more times than soft mick.
I had great intentions, just no bees. So we went to this open day at a bee association in Burnley, and honestly it was brilliant. Really, really friendly people, lots to look at, proper beekeeping going on. I was actually enjoying myself.
I could tell you were getting into it, right up until you said, I'm just going for a wee.
Yep, I nipped to the toilet, literally 2 minutes, a peaceful, innocent bathroom break. No drama, no decisions, just me and a urinal.
And while Chris was off doing that, I started chatting, as you do. And I may have accidentally mentioned that we were looking for some bees.
Accidentally?
Well, Martin overheard, lovely bloke, and he goes, oh, if you've got a hive, I can sort you out with a nuke of bees. 180 quid, I can deliver it.
And you just, what, agreed?
Well, you weren't there to stop me, and he seemed trustworthy, so I shook his hand.
I came out of the toilet and I see Louise shaking hands with a stranger, smiling smugly, like she's just completed a property deal. And I'm thinking, what on earth happened in the 30 seconds I wasn't there?
I'd secured us a colony.
Not a colony, 40,000 winged needles being delivered in 3 days.
You should have seen your face.
Shocked, confused, betrayed. I left for a wee and returned to Beekeeper. That is not how the transition is supposed to happen. I quickly turned our old vegetable patch into an apiary. Yep, that's the vegetable patch where Louise once produced a single courgette in 3 years.
A delicious courgette.
Martin arrives holding a buzzing box, walks through the house like he's delivering a pizza.
I could hear them buzzing from the front door. Sounded like someone had shoved a chainsaw in a shoebox.
He opens the hive, pours the bees in like he's filling a kettle, takes the cash and left us.
And we stood there staring at the hive like, what now?
Well, when do we turn the honey tap? Tomorrow? Lunchtime? Is there a settling in period? Spoiler, that tap never worked, but we'll get on to that. A week later, we see a post on the local Facebook group. Swarm spotted in the village.
And we laughed. Oh dear, some silly person's lost their bees.
So the next day we do our first ever inspection. We lift the lid. Half our bees are gone.
We were the silly people.
Classic new beekeeper mistake. Terrifying, hilarious, embarrassing, educational, but mostly embarrassing. We joined another association after that. Met Kath, absolute star of the beekeeping world and massively experienced Bee Boffin.
She rescued us, taught us the right way to do everything and let us practice in her training apiary.
She absolutely saved our beekeeping backs. And finally, the hive.
It didn't work.
Not at all. Not once, not a drip. It took 2 years to finally get our first drip of honey, and that was using conventional beehives.
2 years of waiting for a tap that never tapped. So that's how we started. Not gracefully, not sensibly, but very memorably.
If you're starting your own beekeeping journey, trust me, you're already doing better than we did.
But laughing aside, we did stick with it.
We learned properly, we trained, we listened to people who actually knew what they were doing.
And we even passed our beekeeping exams.
We did, and you got a merit, much to my jealousy.
You'll get over it.
I won't.
Anyway, if you enjoyed our slightly chaotic origin story,
give the video a like. It really helps new channels like this one.
Subscribe if you want to follow the journey and avoid the mistakes that we made.
And tell us your funniest beekeeping moments in the comments. We love reading them.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.